Good evening, everyone. My name is Victor. We're Sandbox Percussion. Welcome to Season 2 of our Creator Mentorship Program video premieres. The Creator Mentorship Program is an initiative that we launched a couple years ago where we invite two music creators to join us for a season while we workshop a new piece for percussion quartet. We were very happy last season to be joined by Isuel Kim and Wenbin, composers, and we work with them throughout the concert season, both virtually and in person, on their new pieces for percussion. It all culminates at the end of the season with a live performance, which happens in the spring, and then we also record audio and video recordings of their pieces as well. Both of those recordings now will premiere tonight. We're so excited to share them with you. Congratulations to both Isuel and Wenbin on writing these wonderful pieces. It was such a joy to work with you on them throughout all of last season, so we're thrilled to share them with you now tonight. Just a couple quick thank yous. We want to thank the New School College of the Performing Arts and their staff for helping us to record these pieces, the audio recording. Also, a huge thank you to Alex Lee for making the video recordings of the pieces, and to Kevin No for his beautiful work on the audio production as well. So thank you so much to them. I will now pass this off to my colleague Johnny Allen, who is having some conversations with both Isuel and Wenbin ahead of their video premieres. So you can tune into that. Enjoy both of these pieces. Thanks for watching.
Okay, well, hello everybody. I am here with Wenbin Liu, who is the composer of The Quiet piece. And that's a piece he wrote this last year as part of the Sandbox Creator Mentorship Program. And you are all about to watch the YouTube premiere of that in just a minute here. But first, I wanted to take a second to have a conversation with Wenbin, who is here with us. Wenbin, thank you so much for joining me. And first, I'd just like to ask, could you say a sentence or two just about the piece we're about to hear?
Yeah, thank you, Johnny. So the piece I composed for the creator mentorship is called The Quiet Piece. So obviously it's not a fast piece. So the reason I composed this piece was because, that was the time last year I was really stuck in the same kind of music that I composed for a long time, always fast, always like super rhythmic. Because what I always think about was like winning competitions or like participating festivals. So I was like, this is really valuable opportunity because I can work with Sandbox for a whole year. So I want to create something just different. So I want to create this peaceful, slow music, which is really unusual for percussion music to me. So yeah, that's why I composed the piece. And the piece, it just as the name shows, just a quiet piece. I want people just take off their like worry and everything, just enjoy the music for 10 minutes. And that's all the goal for my piece.
That's amazing. Well, I think you certainly accomplished that. It is really like like you said, it's not your typical percussion piece, and cool to know that it's also not, you know, the kind of music that you had been writing. This was also a kind of a new thing for you, and kind of along those lines, I was wondering, like, I know you really like stretched us to like discover new things about what the instrument can do. It's all four of us on one vibraphone, as people will soon see. And so I was kind of curious, how did that kind of year-long process of collaborating, affect the way you wrote and maybe give you ideas?
So the process from the beginning is actually from the collaboration, it's an idea. I was like, I want something like a sliding sound, like glissandi effect on any percussion. And you guys remember, you guys just try something like slide whistle and try some like was change like some saw thing. I don't remember the name of that. And also the percussion, the vibraphone, you can bend the pitch. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. And then how about let's do something for fun, do a chord here. And eventually you guys just make a piece. I was basically for my piece was just like I just record what you guys did, and then that's it. That's the piece. I make some
Oh,
editing, yeah. And with the time goes, I just make this like more professional because the hard thing for the piece will be the choreography because four people on one small vibraphone and you have to bow things and do the pitch bending at the same time is really challenging. So most of the time I'm thinking like, what's the position for the four people? And you guys just show me all the possibilities. Yeah, and I'm really grateful about that.
Thanks. Well, Wenbin, you're giving us more credit than we deserve. But I do remember how fun those sessions were because you were just like, try this, try that, and what does it sound like if you do that? And suddenly we're doing stuff, and we're like, whoa, we've never heard anything like this before. And I'll just give a little detail on kind of what you were just saying, Wenbin. Yeah, we're able to bow the vibraphone to create sustain. And then if you take a hard mallet and press it against the vibraphone bar, it bends the pitch down. And so, yeah, Wenbin, you were able to take advantage of that ability for the kind of almost liquid pitch that happens throughout the piece, and really maximizing the kind of interdependence between all four of us together. So yeah, and I guess kind of my last question was, did you know about those techniques already, or were those things that were just kind of discovered in the moment?
I've definitely seen people do the pitch bending before, but four people doing that at the same time, it's just really unique to me. And also the four people doing a chord together at the same time, it's just really interesting. It's kind of like you hear something under the water. It's like a music under the water. It's like shaking all the time, or like a theremin effect. I love that. It's like vintage, like a record sound. I think it's super cool, and it fits the vibe, the quiet piece.
Well, you just hit the nail on the head. I think every word you just said really prepares our listeners for what they're about to hear. And really, I just want to say thank you so much, Wenbin, because this was a really fantastic process getting to work with you, and we're so happy with the product. And you said some other folks are already performing it, right?
Exactly. And the local school, like ask for the score and they perform it. It's super cool. I can't wait to see more and more people perform this piece.
Yeah, when that's really the goal here is it's
Yeah,
it's one thing to premiere a piece, but it's another to for it to live on and get more performances and kind of become part of the tradition here. So yeah, many goals accomplished here, and yeah, I'll let the performance continue here. Thanks so much for watching.
thank you for having me. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I am here with Isuel Kim, who is the composer of the next piece we are all about to hear. It's a piece called Nori, Nori, and it was also written in the last year as part of our creator mentorship program. Welcome, Isuel. Thanks for being here.
Hi everyone, my name is Liesel. I'm a composer, a pianist, and a singer. Hi.
And you were able to bring all of those things to the forefront as we worked on this piece over the last year. And I'd love to just start by asking you just a little bit about what the inspiration for the piece was. It has the title Nori. Could you tell us a little bit about what that means and sort of your ideas that you brought into the piece?
Right. As a composer, I always try to incorporate my cultural heritage into my composition and a musical work that I create. Even in classical setting or jazz setting, it doesn't really matter to me. And then when I just started composing this, I was working on my ensemble work, which is called Isuel Kim's Two Voices. And then that's also about bringing all the Western elements and then Korean elements together. And I was like, why don't I do this for Sandbox also? And the title Nori means like play, games. And also it comes from Korean traditional percussion ensemble Samul Nori. So that Samul Nori is like a play, and a Samul is four pieces. So four-piece percussion ensemble is Samul Nori. And that's what I wanted to bring into this composition with all the Korean elements. And then I brought this instrument called gwangwari, which is like little like cymbal and a little gong, but like it has like a very distinctive sound. And I brought it from Korea actually. And then I actually wanted to like carry four of them for you guys, and I was like, oh, these are too heavy. So yeah, but maybe in the future, because I'm planning to keep composing something like Nori in the future and then make a probably full album of it.
Wow, amazing. And I'm always so curious about language and stuff like that. So in English we use the word play obviously for playing games, but also like playing music. Is that also how it's used in Korean as well?
Not really. Actually, yes. It's that um play can mean a lot of things in Korea, and we use different vocabulary for the words. So,
So
but
what
no,
would be the closest translation when you would say in Korean, I play piano? What would be like the word for that?
like we will say like perform.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes, we will say perform, or another thing we'll say hit.
Yeah.
So we say like, yeah, I hit piano. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of yeah.
That's what I say too. Yeah, no, it's like that's what I do and I hit things, you know? That's really cool. Well, I love how you were able to kind of translate some of that traditional Korean music into what we do in Sandbox. I also love how you let us. There's like a small amount of improvisation we get to do in that middle section, which really kind of unlocked a new thing inside of us. Was that, I think, from your perspective, was that a little scary to give us that kind of freedom, or was it exciting from your end, or a combination?
It is definitely exciting for me because I work in both jazz and classical fields, and then when jazz musicians improvise and when classical musicians improvise, it definitely brings in like a different idioms, I think. And then that's what I felt. And then I just whenever I work with classical musicians, classically trained musicians, and then when they improvise, sometimes they bring even more fresh ideas because lots of times as a jazz musician we might also be in our own zone and in language, which can be kind of like putting in a box, like, but yeah, so it was exciting for me, definitely.
It was fun, and you still gave us, yes, some structure around it of like these pitches to incorporate and a general energy map of it. And I actually think it fits really seamlessly into the piece.
I think it was all because of my master's at the new school was, um, based on like a new music, and then I was able to work with a lot of classical musicians who improvise. And then I was like thinking, oh yeah, like what if I could give a little bit of elements they can just like fool around, like they can just mess around with. And then I just, because I've watched your you guys performance a lot of times and was like, yeah, you guys were gonna kill it. I know it.
Yeah, we did mess around with it a little bit over the year too. We were like, okay, here's the instruments. What happens if you just kind of go for it, and it ended up being pretty cool. So we let that live in the piece a little bit. And speaking of the instruments, I wanted to just say a little bit. Obviously, there's the kind of the gong instrument that you brought to us, and there's a marimba and a vibraphone, and also some found metal objects. And Victor and myself have the kind of battery percussion of the drums and the cymbals, and it creates this really awesome, like energetic texture, this play. And are those instruments you'd worked with before, or were some of them, was that your first time working with them? I'm kind of curious.
No, some of them definitely first time because like when we're like workshopping in a studio, you guys sometimes you guys are suggesting what if we just hit the resonator? Like that's something that I've never done before. And then like some stuff like that, I was like, oh, like, and then whenever I compose, whenever I'm in a rehearsal, and then I try to like really like open my mind and then ears and then like trying to hear the things that fits into the composition, and like, yeah, I definitely want this sound for this section, like because, just but it just really worked. And then especially, you guys were really helping me like what about this, what about this, what about this. It's basically like banging every drums that exists in the studio, and then it really helped. And then it was surprising for me to experience that, because that's like composer's dream, I think, in order to like create a piece of music and then hear that like little detail in his sound at the spot. Yeah, it really helped me.
Yeah, it's a performer's dream too, and I must say you really tapped into something. I mean, even our name, Sandbox, comes from that feeling of play, like serious play or something like that. And so I feel like you really found kind of what our the core of our ensemble is in a lot of ways. But yeah, so that's the piece, and without further ado, we'll all get to listen to it here. Thanks again, Isuel. It was so wonderful working with you.
Thank you so much for working with me. It was a pleasure.
Pleasure is all ours.
you.